how to meal prep. Maybe you have tried it in the past, failed at it. It is something that you have to build as a habit for sure, but it's not that hard. It's not that difficult. And you can always create very good, healthy recipes that don't require you to put in a ton of ingredients. It's as much as work you want to put into it. I remember when I first started meal prepping, it was very bland. It was like cuts of chicken breasts with maybe a sweet potato, and the most seasoning I would do on the chicken breast was maybe some Mrs. Dash, which today I'm like, no, I can do much more than that. And I do more than that when I meal prep for my wife and I and our kids. So the biggest thing here is that you definitely want to plan ahead and have an idea of what you can really eat for the next so many days. I usually meal prep for a 4-day period. I don't go past 4 days. So usually 3 to 4 days max. Today's recipe though, what we're gonna be making today is one of my favorite meal prep dishes. I actually wrap this in a tortilla usually, but I'm gonna be using rice today. So I've already made some rice. You're gonna see it coming through later. And it's just gonna be, the recipe is just basically gonna be a Thai-inspired ground beef. And it's super delicious. It's very good. And hey, it's easy. So go ahead and stay tuned. Go ahead and actually comment and subscribe if you haven't yet. And let's get started. All right, so to kick everything off, I'm going to start with our cucumbers, which I'm going to slice, and then I'm going to place into a bowl and cover them with salt so that I can get out all of the water that I can from the cucumbers. And then I'm going to set that aside. It takes about 15-20 minutes for this to happen, so you want to set it aside in that bowl covered in salt while we work on everything else. All right, and then into a pan with about 2.25 pounds of ground beef. The pan will be at about medium to high heat, and we want to give it a nice sear. If you start getting a lot of juice from the meat, you can always strain that out. Later on in the process, you'll see me have quite a bit, and I actually take a lot of that out. But yeah, so we want to work this through and get a nice sear on this as our base for our recipe. All right, and moving on to our veggies. So I have some avocado oil here. I'm going to put this in the pan over medium to high heat. And for this recipe, to make it easier for people, I got frozen peppers and onions. And personally, I like to do fresh, but I wanted to try this out. They didn't end up coming out the way I really wanted in the end, just because they had a lot of that water in them. But they still came out really well. And if you want something very fast, simple, not a lot of cutting, this is definitely the avenue to take. All right, and so with our meat that's been set aside, I'm going to go ahead and add in the peppers and the onions here. All right, in a hot pan, I'm going to go ahead and drop in some sliced carrots. You can buy these pre-sliced if you want. And then I'm going to give them a nice sear. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and add in some jalapeños. Again, that's like completely optional. If you want to add in jalapeños, go ahead and do so. But I wanted to add them in because I like that spice. All right, and after we have all those carrots and jalapenos with a nice little brown texture to them from the searing, I'm going to go ahead and add those to our dish here, to the meat and the bell peppers, and set that aside. All right, now the fun part, we're gonna start making the sauce. So in a hot pan, I'm gonna add in some avocado oil. I'm using about 2 tablespoons. You can use olive oil if you like. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that in the pan now. And this is a wok, by the way, not a pan, but it's all good. If you have a pan, use a pan. If you have a wok, use a wok. To that, I'm going to add in 3 to 4 cloves of minced garlic. I'm going to let that brown a little bit. It's okay if it gets brown, just don't let it get black and charred. And then about 1/4 cup of soy sauce, and then about a tablespoon of hoisin, tablespoon of oyster sauce as well. And then I'm going to add in some crushed red peppers because I like the heat, some ginger, about 2 tablespoons of ginger, and a little bit of MSG. You can add MSG if you want, leave it out if you don't want it, and some black pepper. Give it a taste. Tastes good. And then we're going to go ahead and pour it over our entire dish here and let that incorporate before we start plating. All right, let's not forget those nice cucumbers that we just chopped earlier. So I strained these out. You want to get all the water out of them, of course. And then I'm going to go ahead and start adding in some crushed red peppers. Again, I like a lot of spice. You can add it. About a tablespoon of crushed Korean peppers, a tablespoon of sesame oil, and then about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and a little bit of sesame seeds for garnish. Give it a nice mix. And I'm telling you, this salad is so good. It's so versatile. I eat it almost every week. I'm going to add in some more heat here because you know I like my heat, but it's up to you if you want heat or no heat. All right, and then we're gonna go to plating. I like to use a scale whenever I'm meal prepping so I know how much protein and carbs and everything I'm getting. But unfortunately the scale won't work on the camera, so you won't be able to see the digital scale. So I'm gonna start plating, and I'm gonna start off with some rice. I'm using about a cup to a cup and a half of rice here. And then I'm gonna add in all of our extra stuff that we made. So on top of the rice, I'm gonna put our ground beef that we made. And just a tip, basil goes really well with this dish, by the way. I didn't have any basil, but I definitely encourage putting in basil. And then our cucumbers, and you can put some kimchi on the side too if you want. And there we go. All right, so here we are, we meal prepped. I think I could have made another little dish or whatever to go into the third pocket, but got everything here. And I'm super excited about this. And guys, honestly, this is a really easy dish to make. It's not intimidating. You don't have to go the extra mile with the cucumber salad. You could just chop up some cucumbers or whatever veggies you want. The thing is that this is how I usually do it. And I actually top this off with more soy sauce and a little bit of chili garlic paste because I love chili garlic paste. If you haven't had it, it's really good. I love it more than sriracha. So anyways, let's go ahead and give this a taste. If I can get a bite. That is awesome. That is awesome. The meat is so well seasoned. It tastes so good. You can taste the basil. You can taste all the seasonings. It's a little spicy. I'm gonna make it spicier for me. And let's go ahead and try the cucumber. I love these cucumbers. They're a little salty, a little tangy in a way. Very good. I don't want to put this down. I want to get another bite here, but I need to put this down. Okay. So that's a recipe. Just so you know, typically I add usually a little bit more hoisin sauce than what I did for this recipe today, just in case other people don't like that. So it was more geared towards all of you, but this is awesome. This is such a simple meal. And by the way, I mean, this is like a lot of protein. This is a lot of protein in this meal. So go ahead and if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to have you a part of this channel. And for those of you that have been supporting this channel, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. This is my passion. I love doing this. And we're going to make more recipes. Cheers.